Happy holidays, Game Heart. Celeste here. Also welcoming you back is the dynamic duo, Kaylin and Sean.
Hey guys, how's it
How you
going?
doing?
Thank you for joining us during this exclusive interview with Jason Nowak, developer of the one and only Muno Defense, featured right here at dynamiteapps.com. Say hello, Jason.
Hi, how's it going?
So Jason joined the Dynamite Apps community some months ago, and now we are here to nitpick his awesomeness and learn all the great insights about this incredible app developer and his journey into game making.
Okay guys, awesome. I want to start by saying it is an honor to be speaking with Jason. Basically because I'm a big gamer myself, so it's always great to be able to talk to somebody who has a passion about games just as much as I do.
And we're a big fan of his game.
And we're big fans of his game. Yes.
We really appreciate it. I'm really impressed with that game. And it's a privilege. We honor your support, and this is what we're looking for our developers. So this is really, really cool.
All right, yeah, so let's get started. So Jason, first we're going to find out a little bit about you. So where are you from, and when did you start creating games?
I live in San Francisco, California.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
More California. And I've been here about 10 years. I grew up right outside of Chicago. And it's so funny. I've been into gaming and games ever since I was a kid, just like most people. And when I was real young, me and my brother, we would make games together. We would try to, when we were about like 10 or 12, there were these really kind of interesting apps like, I don't know if you've heard of them, called like RPG Maker. All those classic apps. And we would kind of just like work together and make these like silly, Zelda knockoffs and just fun games together.
That's
and
cool.
Then, he went into engineering, and I went into more of the kind of, user experience and graphic design. And just kind of from that, I've had this deep interest in games ever since I was a kid. And so I found some software a couple years ago called Game Salad that let me make my own games. And that just opened up a whole world for me. And it's been so much fun.
Well, that's absolutely amazing.
Right. So is Game Salad? Is it easy to learn, or does it take some time to really start to create your first game, or how's that?
Yeah, it's there's definitely a bit of a learning curve. Okay. There's a lot of drag and drop. You don't have to know any coding or any kind of there's so many languages out there. Luckily, you don't have to know any of that, but you do have to build logic. So you do have to kind of really think about how your mechanics work, how you want to put things together, and that's what was so interesting to me is that I'm not good at math. I'm not good at any of that kind of stuff. Game Salad, you have to know how to build logic. There's a bit of a learning curve to that. But even without knowing how to code, how to write code, if you can really kind of figure out the different pieces that you need to put together to make your game, make sense and to make it work. That's what that software allows you to do. And so as soon as I found that, it just opened up, a lot of doors for me to experiment and prototype and then actually, build real games.
Well, I tell you that, I guess Game Salad is pretty impressed with the software. It's pretty awesome.
They've been super supportive too. I've been in contact with them, and they've showcased my games and that sort of thing. So I've been real lucky there.
All right. So going back to your childhood, what was perhaps your favorite game as a kid?
Legend of Zelda. No,
fun game.
Sonic and like Mario and things like that. So.
Legend of Zelda, fun game.
Yeah, especially A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. That will always be the game that kind of turned me over to this world forever.
Right.
There's just something about that game that just
reminiscent.
It's not. Yeah, it's that nostalgia, but it's also it just had such a deep world to explore that there's so many secrets and so many things, and you get lost in it. And
which is
it's just
really fun concept about game making,
right.
Gameplay. Having that ability to just dive right in and get lost in it.
Right. Really cool stuff. So as far as your game Muno Defense, which by the way everyone was featured on Game Salad as Game of the Month of September.
Woo!
So congrats to that for you, Jason. That was really cool.
Congratulations on that, man.
And
really phenomenal work.
All right, which I love that game because you know anything about me, I love tower defense games. I love them to death. When I played that game, I was having so much fun, and it is really addicting. So all of you fans out there, you guys need to definitely check that out. Definitely.
It's a very impressive game.
So how long did it take you to develop that game, and did you develop that whole game individually? Because it is pretty impressive with the graphics and ingenuity in that game.
Oh well, yeah. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys like it so much.
Yeah,
love it. Yeah, it was all by me, all in Game Salad, and then did all the graphics myself. And I started working on it. I think maybe about a year and a half ago. I had an idea to do. I'm a huge tower defense fan myself too, so I really wanted to make one. But I wanted to do one with kind of a twist. You know, I didn't want to do it just like medieval style or just something that's ready. And so I'm a huge science geek too. I love learning about science, reading about it, and it just seemed like such a good fit. You know, the human body is a tower defense all day long.
Right.
So how can you turn that into a game? And so that's kind of where it started.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the movement, the movement of the game. You know, when all the germs are coming into play. So the movement in the game is really fascinating, really cool.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so Jason, are you a full-time developer? Do you develop games as a for a living, or is this just something a hobby of yours?
It's yes and no.
Yes.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I'm a user experience designer at a company in San Francisco.
Okay.
And I do my independent development on the side.
Okay.
So that's cool. Yeah, games like Muno Defense and other stuff I'm working on are just kind of a thing I do, just like a passion project type stuff, which is always super fun. But yeah, my day job is actually still the user experience designer for games, so I get to do it on both ends.
That's
cool. So what are your future plans as far as mobile gaming, creating games? Are you working on a new project, and do you plan on starting your own game studio, or you just want to keep it as a hobby?
It's a great question, and it's actually that's pretty much on my mind every day. You know, it's starting your own studio is tough, especially now with mobile gaming. It's such a saturated market.
Right.
Just getting your games out there, getting them seen by people. I mean, you know, I've been lucky to have some featuring and some stuff, especially like, you know, a site like your guys, which I appreciate so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But
Thank you very much.
It's just so hard to monetize. You know, that's the hard part, especially with Muno. I decided to make free because I wanted as many people to play it as they could, and there are some, you know, hooks in there for, you know, free to play stuff if you want to get more levels and that sort of thing. But I didn't want to go overboard with that stuff because I'm just not a big fan of those types of games myself.
Right.
And so it's just so hard to kind of monetize without going in that direction. You're even seeing companies just struggle with that every day. And so for me, I'm trying to still kind of crack the code there where I can make something that I enjoy, but also could be a revenue stream for myself.
Exactly.
But man, it is tough.
I know. I know it must be, you know, difficult, especially when you're competing against, you know, like role-playing games and Xbox and PS3, and people are so into that. And you know, the only, I guess, you know, advantage you have is that your game is on the go and people can play that whenever they want.
Exactly.
So it's really difficult.
Yeah, and there is just so much money spent too on big developers pushing for the App Store as well, with just kind of user acquisition and paying for ads. I mean, you're starting to see mobile game ads on TV now, which is crazy. You know, the new Mario game is of course getting a whole lot of attention, which is great. It's got Nintendo behind it and Apple. But you know, you are competing with that level of stuff now. You're competing literally with Nintendo now.
Right.
And how do you do that as a one-man shop? It's quite a challenge. So you have to get lucky. That's part of it.
Exactly. And that's what Dynamite Apps is all about. You know, we know how indie developers feel in the competition they face to showcase their artistic ability in game development. So that's why here at Dynamite Apps we're so excited, you know, to try to get those developers as much marketing as we can to help them showcase their talent, because there's a lot of talent out there like yourself. So we really have a passion for helping indie developers get their games out there and have a lot of fun.
It's interesting that you say when you talked about the ads and how these companies put the ads on TV. And I've seen some where they have them, at like Super Bowl games and football, halftime shows. He's showing these game ads, and most people don't have the money to pay for those kind of ads.
Right.
Those ads cost thousands of dollars, and most of the time it's the gaming studios who have the money to put those ads there. So I definitely know what you mean by that.
And the trick too is with those ads, especially if you have a free-to-play game, maybe that ad brings in 1 million people, but then you also have the strategy of when you bring those people in, okay, how do you make money off of them?
Mm-hmm.
Or does it pay for itself after you run the ad? And so there's that whole kind of balance of, okay, how much is it going to cost to bring someone in versus how much can you actually make off of that? And that's a whole a whole business model in and of itself. And that's pretty tough to crack.
Awesome.
Wow. So, we're talking about how saturated the market is right now. How do you feel about the future of mobile gaming? Do you think it's here to stay? It's not going anywhere? Or do you think? What do you think about that?
I think it's the future, honestly.
Yes?
I think console games are super interesting. I'm still a big console gamer myself.
Right. Yes.
I think that's going to have a more limited audience as it kind of goes on, and mobile games will just continue expanding the audience. I mean, my mom plays games. She's asking me questions. As a kid, I could barely even get her to watch me play a game.
Right.
And now she is a big gamer on the iPad. It's crazy.
Right.
It is crazy.
It is the future, and the industry is just phenomenal, man. The growth and the money that is out there that is generated.
Yeah.
So it's a huge industry, and it's really still going upward. So yes.
Okay, our last question for today is, what advice would you give to other indie developers on how to create a successful game, such as your recent game Muno Defense?
Well, I would first challenge yourself to define your own success, first off. Because I think a lot of people may go into it with this really big high notion of, oh my god, I could have the top game and make $1 million.
Right.
Never have to work again. And sure, yeah, that would be great. But just as we talked about, just even getting people to play your game or get noticed is hard enough, much less kind of striking gold with it. So I think setting realistic expectations for yourself is the most important thing you can do. Especially with Muno Defense, I just wanted to have a good time. I wanted to build my portfolio. I wanted to learn new software. I wanted to just have fun, and I absolutely achieved all of that, and that's really great. And if it made money, I'd be cool with that. If it didn't, I'd kind of move on to the next thing.
Right.
And I think with people, you really have to set your own expectations and not, because otherwise, if you define failure as it wasn't a hit game, well, then is that going to discourage you from ever trying something again?
Exactly.
Right.
And if you fail, try to figure out why and always question those things.
Of course.
I had done a game before this one called Milo and Me.
Oh, really?
You guys saw that. That was it's kind of like a Zelda inspired game, and I was really proud of it. But I think I kind of fell into that trap of I wasn't sure where it was going to go, and got picked up by a couple websites and didn't make much money either. But it was still a lot of fun. But I was kind of initially discouraged of, oh my god, like I'm not making any money on this. Is this even worth trying? What do I do with this? And so then I kind of decided, like, okay, I'm not relying on this for my income just yet, at least. And what can I do that's still fun, and I'm not going to discourage myself from new things. So so by kind of really making sure that I knew what I was up against and what I was aiming for, that made it so much more fun.
Awesome.
Right.
Passion and commitment.
Yes, very wise.
Pave the road to success.
Absolutely.
Yes. Awesome.
All right, so everyone, that's all we got. You guys got any more questions?
No, that's it. I'm just glad that we were able to have an interview with you, Jason.
Especially
and it's
for
been
the
a
holidays.
privilege. It's
Yes.
been quite a privilege.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Privilege is all mine. Yeah, thank you guys. This is so fantastic to talk to you.
Yeah, and stay in tune with Dynamite Apps because we got some great things in the future for Dynamite
Going
Apps.
up.
A lot of fun is going to be coming, and we're going to do some things that people never seen done before. So I just want to remind you that we're all about developers and indie developers. We're all about them and helping them reach their goals. We love doing this, so it's great. Once again, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Jason.
Thank you so much.
Good. All right, everyone. That is Jason Nowak, the great Jason Nowak. Muno
Muno
Defense
Defense,
is his
baby.
recent
Muno
game.
Defense.
Go check him out and go check out his other games, man. I guarantee you're gonna enjoy them.
Thank you, Game Hearts, for joining this exclusive interview with us, with Jason Nowak. Tune in again soon for our next interview coming up. Remember, it's not just gaming.
It's a revolution.
revolution.